At 75, he passed away Tuesday at a hospital in Marietta, Georgia, following complications from a stroke. Bryson, known as the Voice of Love, is survived by his wife, children, and grandchildren. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the title?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Cleveland Browns general manager Andrew Berry said Monday's trade that sent Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Rams would not have happened unless the Rams included linebacker Jared Verse in the deal. Verse made the Pro Bowl in his first 2 seasons with the Rams. Last season, Verse led the Rams in sacks with 7.5 and was second on the team in tackles for a loss. After selecting Victor Wembanyama with the #1 pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs have been on a steady rise up the charts. In Wembanyama's rookie season, the Spurs were 22-60 and lost 18 straight games. In year 2, the Spurs were 34-48. This season, the Spurs finished 62-20, second best record in the NBA behind Oklahoma City. This surge has taken the Spurs all the way to the NBA Finals. Game 1 against the Knicks is Wednesday night, 5:30 tip-off on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man!
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique Diprima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique Diprima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique Diprima. This show is called First Things First. As you might have noticed, my very first thing every day is prayer, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to do, much to understand. And I'm so glad that you are here with me. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell an enemy. KBLA is on the map. We're doing our thing, and it helps when you spread the word. We are David to the corporate Goliath when it comes to the media landscape, and we appreciate all of our KBLA delegation that keeps things going. Okay, so election, obviously, you know that was yesterday, so we got a lot to talk about. I will say this, though. There are many candidates. There are many issues that will not be resolved today. And that doesn't mean that there was cheating. It doesn't mean that anything has gone awry. It's just because California is a really, really, really big state. And we have rules that mean you have to count really, really, really carefully. So it's kind of ironic because the president and other people who do not win their races or things don't go the way they want them to go, like to say that that they cheated and it's the mail-in ballots and this and that. But you heard the Secretary of State on yesterday, if you were with us, Dr. Shirley Weber, who, by the way, appears to be winning in a landslide. You heard her say they have to check the signatures. They have to check every signature, the signature on that mail-in ballot versus the signatures of you that they have on file. That takes a long time. Which do you want? You want us to count fast, or do you want us to count accurately? And so that's really what it comes down to. So, all this hype by Republicans and folks that don't win saying that the process is, shady. Well, either they're being disingenuous or maybe they don't understand the process. So, yeah, we're not going to have all the answers to everything. We're just not right away. Okay. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on last night. What we do know, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And one example of that is that right now, they're still counting governor. And it looks like it's going to be Hilton and Becerra, but it's possible that Steyer pulls up. I'll say it's not possible. And I say this with a smile on my face. It is not possible that Bianco is going to be in the gubernatorial final. That ain't going to happen. I'm being joined this morning by a delegate for the LA County Democratic Party. She also happens to be an award-winning Gen X journalist, a Democratic strategist, and a fashionista. Jasmyne Cannick, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
Okay, you sound semi-coffeed, which is amazing considering that you are, I think you hit the campaign watch party circuit, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. Yes, was out to the wee hours of the morning, but that's every election cycle. Folks work very, very hard. We work really hard. A lot of folks don't, they see the candidate. They don't always see the folks behind the scenes that are also working just as hard as the candidate. And so, when election night comes, folks want to let off steam and they want to, and remember, we're all voters too, right? So, besides the races that we work on, we have our picks as well. So, yeah, it was an interesting night. I made it to quite a few. I was listening to you talk about sort of like the numbers and stuff, and I was sitting here thinking this is not our first time at the rodeo, LA. We never know the results the day after the election in a lot of the most highly contested races. When I laid down to sleep this morning, for the few hours that I got, Tom Steyer was in second place. This morning, Steve Hilton is in second place, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a nail biter, I think, in some of these races as they continue to update the count, and that's just the way it goes. But to your point, no, that didn't quite work out the way Chad Bianco thought it was going to.
Yeah, a couple things, Jasmyne Cannick. One, explain what that party circuit that you were doing. What is that? Like, not everybody is even aware of it or has ever been part of it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, most people just vote, right? Mm-hmm. But you actually could get up and go out to an election party. They're open to the public, open to the supporters of any particular campaign. And for example, the LA County Democratic Party had a party in, I think it was like we would consider it the Mid-Wilshire District, right? And so a lot of the candidates that the Democratic Party supported, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, that party was in one location at the line in Mid-Wilshire, so you could have gotten up and gone over there. Most parties do not start until 8 o'clock because you don't start a party until the vote centers actually close. And yeah, you just, hang out and you hear from the candidate. It's actually the location that you see on the news every night, right? When the news reporter is like, can we get a reaction from you on the first early results? That is where they are at, the election night party with that candidate. And so most candidates do have some type of election night gathering. Some do not. And I saw last night, for example, I was with Congresswoman Maxine Waters in Hawthorne. I was with Jose Ugarte, who came out on top in the Council District 9 race to replace outgoing council member Curran Price.
That one's called for sure. And there were like 3 million people running for that position.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a minute. Yes. There may have been 3 million people running for that position, but the voter turnout in the 9th district so far has been very, very low. So even though Jose, and that's something else that we look at, like we, meaning like, people who work in politics, we also do look really closely like at the voter turnout, right? Because some elections are won, particularly like in a city like Compton, literally with hundreds of votes, right? So the voter turnout in the 9th district for all the people who were running was really, really, really low. Now, true, they're still counting, but it's nothing like other cities like, Long Beach. So, for example, right now, Jose is in the lead with 4,500 votes.
That's amazing.
4,500 votes.
That's not that many people. I mean,
Right.
It's one row at a Beyonce concert. Like, yeah.
Exactly. So, but they're still counting. But he is in the lead. It does look like at this point there will be a runoff between him and Estuardo Mazir. I don't want to mess up the last name, but Mazariegos. So it looks like there'll be a runoff between those two because, folks, this was a primary. As I said yesterday, not a blood oath, not a marriage proposal, no matching tattoos. We have to go back at it again in November. It's the top two. And so if your candidate didn't get 50+1, they will be going toe-to-toe with the next highest vote getter in their race.
Right, so the top two, like the playoffs in football, kind of like that.
I don't. I'm a tennis girl. I don't know anything about football.
Okay, like the final. The final? Then what is it? The final round in the tennis matchup.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, so there are a couple of races where folks did get 50+1 outright, at least as of now. So it doesn't look like there's going to have to be a runoff. the 11th district race right now, the incumbent Tracy Park in Los Angeles.
Looks like she's going to win outright, yeah.
She has 65, right. It also looks like Hugo Soto Martinez in the 13th district is also going to be, just fine, just in terms of not having to do a runoff. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting for the next couple of days, I think, as votes come in. I know a lot of folks were like me, Dominique, and, I waited to the very last minute to go walk that ballot in because, in case there was a new scandal, some new revelations that came up, yeah. I said, you know what, I've never waited this long like this, but I'm waiting because I want to make sure that I don't end up casting my vote and finding out, one of these candidates had, I don't know, underage children working in their basement making tennis shoes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Things were just coming out left and right in these last couple of weeks of this election.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold that thought, Jasmine. We're going to continue this conversation with Jasmyne Cannick. We are taking your phone calls at 800-920-1580. And it does look, speaking of outright wins, like the controller, Kenneth Mejia, will keep his job, which is actually kind of remarkable considering the amount of money that was poured into making allegations against him. We'll talk about that and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique Diprima when we come forward.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it.
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh, my God.
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. It's high time that we say the quiet part out loud about what we consider a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the people of South Los Angeles. Destination Crenshaw, or as I call it, Procrastination Crenshaw, was supposed to be a 1.3-mile celebration of Black Los Angeles. Pocket parks, commissioned art, a cultural corridor along Crenshaw Boulevard, stretching from our studios in Leimert Park down to Nipsey Hussle Square. It was set to complete in 2022. That's right, 2022. We are now in 2026, and the Crenshaw community is still waiting. A grand opening was announced for February 2024. That date passed with not a single artwork installed. Then we were promised that construction would be completed by the end of 2024. That date came and went. Our understanding is that as of last fall, the 8th Council District Office was still scrambling to raise additional monies just to restart the project, which has been paused again and again. But here's what makes my blood boil. City officials had the nerve to tell this community the delays are, quote, a necessary inconvenience, close quote. A necessary inconvenience? First of all, who are you talking to? Second, go tell that to the Black business owners who have been coping with construction chaos, breathing dust, enduring years of road closures and the scarcity of available parking, confronting unsanitary conditions, losing customers and revenue, all while the project they were promised still sits unfinished. They wouldn't let a project sit this long in any other part of this city. And for what it's worth, our elected official just happens to be the president of the LA City Council. Meanwhile, the city is laser focused on sprucing things up for the World Cup and the Olympics. Please, if this corridor were in Brentwood or Beverly Hills, it would have been completed on time, on budget, and on the cover of every magazine in town. The Crenshaw community deserves better. They deserve the truth, and they deserve what was promised to them. Now, right now, not when it's convenient, not when the cameras are rolling for the Olympics. Now, this isn't incompetence, this is a pattern. And at some point, neglect becomes a decision. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station,
and your favorite morning show host.
Let's get back to Dominique Diprima right now.
And now Jasmyne Cannick is with me, and we are doing our best to unpack this election. You made a great point, Jasmyne. It could be a minute. I mean, before we know everything, I know that the Secretary of State doesn't certify the election results until July. But when will we really, when will we have close to 100% of the votes counted, do you think?
So this all has to do with the LA County Recorder Register Clerk, Norwalk. The LA County is counting these votes. So, they put out a schedule. I haven't looked at what they usually put out a press release with what the update schedule is going to be. And in these races that are very close, it can take a week. It could take 2 weeks, depending on the number of votes and how many folks ended up voting provisional, right? Meaning something was wrong with your ballot, or you couldn't find your ballot, and you had to, it could take a week to 2 weeks, I would say, for us to get a really clear picture in these nail biter.
But when you say LA County, that's for our local races. I mean, as far as governor goes, they have to look at a statewide count. Yeah.
But also remembering that our numbers in LA County go into that count, right? That Shirley Weber is looking at. So, her numbers are only as good as what LA County is able to put out, right? And we're the largest county in the state. And so it could be a little while before we have a really good idea in terms of who the number 2 is going to be in that governor's race. And, like I said, when I went to sleep, it was Tom Steyer. When I woke up, it was Steve Hilton. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that for the next couple of days. So, which is okay. I'm okay with that because that means people turned out to vote. Yeah. That means that the numbers weren't so low that we finished in one night because folks didn't vote, right?
Yeah, it does look like the LA City Controller is going to win outright. It does appear that way because there's only 2 people. There's only 2 people in that race. Right.
But the upset, I think, is for the evening, as far as I am concerned, is that LA City Attorney's race.
What? Right.
And our current city attorney, Heidi Felding Soto, coming in third place, completely out of a job this morning. There will be a runoff, more than likely, just between Marissa Roy and John McKinney, and it looks like she is a one-term city attorney for the city of Los Angeles.
She being Heidi Feldstein Soto, who, had the police association endorsement, and then they withdrew it because of this data leak. So meanwhile, Black Lives Matter LA is protesting her because she's going after protesters. So she had pressure on the left and pressure on the right. And it looks like, she's not even going to make the runoff, which that's pretty extreme, right? I mean, an incumbent not to make the runoff is fairly unusual, isn't it?
It is fairly unusual, and especially given the amount of money that she had in her war chest for this campaign. and the amount of endorsements that she had in this campaign. I was very surprised. I thought for sure she would be in the runoff. And for folks, again, I just did a town hall with the district attorneys.
We need to talk about that too, home girl.
There were quite a Right. There were quite a few questions from folks in the audience that had nothing to do with the district attorney's office. They had to do with the city attorney's office, homelessness, protesters. All of that falls under the city attorney. The city attorney deals with your quality of life issues, and I guarantee you, unless you're criminally ambitious, you end up being a victim, you really don't interact with the district attorney's office in L.A. County, but you do interact with the L.A. city attorney, and the decisions that they make do actually affect your neighborhood and your everyday life, and they are also the attorney for the city, right? So if the city decides they want to come up with a new law, it's the city attorney's job to figure out, is it legal and how can we do it? And so it's a very important race. And for me, I would say more important than the district attorney. And so I'm just absolutely very intrigued by these results. And again, none of these are positions for life.
But the other thing to note here is now you've got a very polarized race because Marissa Roy comes out of the Attorney General's office and is generally considered to be pretty progressive. She has she's a tenants' rights advocate, and then you've got the challenger, the other challenger, right, who's endorsed by Nathan Hochman, who's a mini MAGA guy. So now, just like it appears that we're going to see in the mayor's race, we're going to have even though they're supposedly nonpartisan, a very Republican Democrat type of matchup.
Let's be very, really clear. Yes, our local races are nonpartisan, family, because we all have to live in the same neighborhood. And so that's why when you get to county and local races, you don't see a D, a R, a G, a L by folks' names. But that by no means means that they have no party affiliation, okay? And so you're absolutely right, Dominique. It looks like in quite a few of these races, it's going to come down to MAGA Republicans against Democrats, right? And particularly in our Los Angeles mayor's race, where obviously right now our beloved mayor, Karen Bass, is in top place, as she should be, but followed by Spencer Pratt of all folks. Folks literally got behind a reality television dude who ran for one side of the city on a personal grievance.
And the other thing about that is that that doesn't look like it's going to change. It's just it would take, a miracle from God for Nithya Raman to leapfrog Spencer Pratt at this point.
Yes, it would take a miracle from God. You are exactly right, for her to make up the ground between her 22% and his 30%, right? So it looks like this is where we're at with that.
And to me, the big story here is the mayor, because even though the headlines, the mainstream media is reporting it like, oh, the mayor faces a runoff, what a shocker. No, there were 35,000 people running for mayor. It's not a shocker at all. We knew there was going to be a runoff. To me, the big story here is the commanding lead that the mayor won by in this crowded race.
Right. So she so far, that she has a very decent gap between her and Spencer, but just not enough to be over that 50+1. And I think now the job for these candidates is going to be convincing the supporters of Adam Miller, Nithya Raman, Ray Wang, and all of these other folks who ran, to get behind them and to support them going into the general. And for some folks, that's just not, you're really literally going to have a decision between supporting a MAGA Republican, and I don't care, people, one of the tricks that people do in this city, as you know, Dominique, when they run for office, is they shed their Republican political affiliation so that they can run for office here in Los Angeles. They turn no party preference on purpose. But your whole entire life you were a Republican until you got ready to run for office.
Hold that thought, Jasmyne Cannick. We're up against news, traffic, and sports. Hard stop at the bottom of the hour, but we're going to continue this conversation. Yes, hiding party affiliation, a favorite sport here in LA County. We'll continue this conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique Diprima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Spencer Pratt appears headed for a runoff election with Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
It's going to be a fun ride. I hope she's ready.
The reality TV star has 29%, while City Councilwoman Thea Rahman is trailing in third place. Bass is leading in the primary with 36% of the vote. A group of black candidates in South Florida is considering uniting to challenge a longtime incumbent. For Democrats, Elijah Manley, Luther Campbell, Dale Holness, and Sheila Chervelis McCormick are discussing whether to consolidate support ahead of the primary to improve their chances of winning the seat against Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And the Tribeca Festival is underway, opening with a new documentary from Questlove highlighting the legacy of Earth, Wind, and Fire. The film explores the group's cultural impact and the vision of late founder Maurice White. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the Delegate?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Basketball fans in New York City have waited 27 years for tonight, the chance to see their Knicks in the NBA Finals. The Knicks and San Antonio Spurs meet up tonight in Game 1. Getting to the NBA Finals is nothing new for the Spurs franchise. This is number 7, with 5 championships to show for it. Allow me to provide some perspective on this rare occasion for the Knicks franchise. The last time the Knicks made it to the NBA Finals in 1999, there were no smart TVs or iPhones. There was no social media, no Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. There was also no YouTube or Zoom, no Netflix, no Spotify, no iTunes, and not even flash drives. A lot has changed since the Knicks got this far in the NBA playoffs. In this postseason, the Knicks have won 11 straight playoff games, but the Spurs are 4.5-point favorites. 5:30 tip-off tonight in San Antonio on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, black voices, black power.
The heat is on.
On the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected. Stay informed. Stay loud.
Stand up!
5 years ago, Los Angeles needed a voice. A real one. Not polished, not cautious, not corporate. KBLA Talk 1580 showed up, and we haven't shut up since. 5 years of standing with workers, with communities, and with the truth. Happy 5th anniversary to every listener who made this possible. This is your station, KBLA Talk 1580, Progressive Talk, Los Angeles, loud.
Happy anniversary!
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly $14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another $13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns, while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, This is the Hope Gap, and it's real. Where is it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eaton fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique Diprima on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, we got a lot to cover while we have Jasmyne Cannick, the actually LA County Democratic Party delegate. She's also a political strategist and an award-winning journalist. Okay, look, I got to ask you this. Jimmy Gomez is under investigation, reportedly by the Health Ethics Committee. That's what the LA Times is saying, over sexual misconduct allegations. He said he made mistakes. He apologized to his wife, but he hasn't broken Ethics Committee rules. But let's say it turns into a Swalwell type situation. What happens? He appears to be well ahead in his race. In second place, though, is a Republican. So if he's, in second place, yeah, I'm not sure if it's a Republican. But if it ends up with a Republican in second place and he has to step down, does that mean that Republican runs unopposed in November?
No, I don't think so. I mean, okay. I have to look at that race, but at the end of the day, he's going to be on the ballot. He's on the ballot, and he's in a solidly, a heavily Democratic area, and so what voters would have to do is there would probably, and if he had to, for example, if he won and then he had to resign, they would probably have to have a special election. I don't think, given the climate in D.C., folks would want to wait.
I got you. Okay, so second place is actually another Democrat. So if this holds, the Republican is in third place. If this holds, it wouldn't matter anyway, because what you're saying is they would have a whole do-over if he had to step down. It wouldn't just be Angela Gonzalez Torres. If he had to step down before November, it wouldn't be her running unopposed.
No, he's going to be on the ballot.
Right.
Like he's like if it holds where it is now, right? 45-25, 45% for Jimmy Gomez, 25 for Angela Gonzalez Torres. He's going to be on the November ballot. He would probably get reelected. He would have to resign his seat. Strategically, he would have to resign his seat, and then, like I said, they would probably have a special election. I don't think folks would want to wait until 2028 because,
gotcha.
Folks in the House go up every 2 years.
Yeah. Okay, we got some folks on the phone before we go there because we're going to get distracted, I already know. Talk to me a little bit about the city of Compton. We had some colorful races going on there, and I know you have some updates that I probably do not have.
Well, the current mayor, Emma Sharif, was challenged by a number of folks, including former Mayor Omar Bradley, and current council member Andre Spicer. And when I went to sleep last night, it looked like it was going to be a runoff between Omar and Emma Sharif. When I woke up this morning, it appears to be a runoff between Emma Sharif and Andre Spicer. No one in that race got the 50+1, but Emma Sharif is leading everyone with 41%. And it looks like Andre and former Mayor Omar Bradley are going to be duking it out for that second place. And then also what I found interesting in Compton, so let's say thank you, everyone, for not electing Jace Dawson to that second council. Y'all really saved yourself and did yourself a favor there. But it does look like it's definitely going to be no one there got 50 plus 1. But what I will say is that the numbers are very low. When I look at the numbers in the second district for Compton, Dominique, the highest vote getter as of right now, Benny Tenson, 373 votes.
What?
373.
Wow. I mean, and that mayoral race, you want to talk about a generational race. I'm not, even if you take the incumbent out of it, Omar Bradley was mayor in the 90s, and I think Andre Spicer is a millennial.
Yeah. Well, people ask me about Compton a lot, and I'm going to tell you what I tell them. The folks in Compton who still vote religiously are the older black folks who still live there.
Yeah.
That is why.
There's 324 of them, apparently.
They're the ones that vote.
Yeah.
And so, I remember walking into Congresswoman Waters' party last night, and she was in mid-sentence talking about how while there's a lot of talk on social media, the young people don't vote, and we have got to figure out how to get the young people to vote. And she's absolutely right. When we look at the numbers of the people who actually vote versus the people who just, talk that talk online.
People who post about voting.
Right, who post about voting.
Yeah.
The people who actually vote is our generation, our parents' generation, and Maxine's generation.
Okay, let's go to Trevor calling us from Culver City. He's kind of one of our resident Republicans here at KBLA. Good morning, Trevor.
Well, once again, I'm not Republican. I'm conservative, but that's okay. I do have a question. I'm glad to talk to a strategist. If you are running campaigns and you're seeing a precipitous decline, Gavin Newsom in the recall got 63%, Kamala Harris got 58%, and now you see the Attorney General race at 53%. So you've lost 10%, and the numbers are coming more to an even Republican-Democrat vote. As a strategist, you got to be worried about protecting California because the Democrats are not turning out. In these House races across the state of California, 57% of the contested races, and what I mean by that are candidates that are going to face a challenge in the fall because they didn't make enough because of the jungle
runoffs
primary.
Is what you're talking about, right?
Right.
Runoff election.
Well, it's not a runoff in those races because that's different. You have to go run in the fall also. So it's not quite the same as a local election. But 57% of those Democrats didn't even get above 55%.
Where are you taking your numbers from? Just curious. Trevor, what are you citing?
NBC News website.
Okay, got it.
News website.
Okay, so let's get to your bottom line here so we have time for Jasmyne to respond to what you're saying.
Okay, the bottom line is if I'm a Democrat in California, I got to be worried that I've seen statewide numbers decline. It's now down to a 10% gap when it was a 20% gap.
Got it. Okay, Jasmyne, go ahead.
All right. So if what I'm hearing correctly is are Democrats worried that folks are not voting and our numbers are going are lower, and I guess he's saying that our candidates aren't pulling in the numbers that they should be,
right.
Which sounds to me to be code for don't you think more people are leaning more conservative and supporting Republicans? Look, what I think the Democratic Party needs to do with all of their candidates that they endorse is that they need to have candidates that actually appeal to voters where we are right now and on the issues where we are right now. Part of the issue with the Democratic Party is that you started off this whole show, Dominique, right, talking about how I'm a delegate in the Democratic Party. I'm one of the people that get to vote on who gets the endorsement, right, as a delegate. And so A lot of the delegates in the party are older. They're a lot of white folks up and down this state. A lot of folks who are the status quo, and they're always going to put up the status quo. And, you know, some of what we're seeing with voters, now while younger voters may not be showing out in the same numbers as older generations, you know, millennial voters, Gen Z voters, and to some extent also Gen X voters, they do want to see candidates who are a lot more progressive on a lot of issues that are really important to us. A lot of the status quo Democrats are not. They are just simply not that. And so they put forth these candidates that folks don't get excited about. We've always had a problem with voter turnout, at least as long as I can remember in terms of working in politics. Voter turnout has been abysmal in certain parts of Los Angeles County. So like I was saying, that's 373 votes, right, in Compton. But I do think we have a responsibility as Democrats to put candidates up who are going to be able to inspire voters and get voters to want to vote for them. I'm not worried about California becoming purple. I'm not worried about California becoming red. I believe we are a solidly blue state. But I do think that some of our candidates that the delegates vote to support and endorse are a bit out of touch. But I'll take a bit out of touch over a Chad Bianco. I'll take that over a Gloria Romero. I'll take that over any of the Republican candidates.
I mean, the thing is, if you just look at the governor's race, if you add up because there's 1 million Democrats running and 2 Republicans. If you add up all of the Democratic results, we're at 57%, right? Around 57%, which is a pretty solid lead. Although Jasmine, I believe our state is bipolar because we have, you know, the interior Kern County type areas where it is pretty red.
Oh, no, absolutely. There are red parts of California, don't get me wrong, but not enough not enough folks in California to change it, right? I think we are solidly blue, but I do think that we're having a moment in our party right now just in terms of folks, like I said, who are pushing back against sort of the status quo Democrat and sort of like, you know, these corporate Democrats, and folks want candidates who are willing to be a little bit more radical, particularly on issues that are super important to all of us, like, right, housing affordability, renters, like there's just these certain issues. And like that was one of my critiques of Becerra, who I also happen to like, right? I think, you know, we talked about this a lot, right? Like it was a tough choice between Steyer and Becerra. I like Becerra a lot, but I landed on, but he is the status quo. And if I'm not for the status quo Democrat, I cannot support the status quo Democrat, right?
Yeah, especially not in a primary election, right?
Right. And again, it's a primary, folks. If your person didn't advance, you can go back and re-examine who did and figure out where you're going to land. Do not disappear. We need you again for November. This is not over. This was not the final chapter. It was the first draft.
Absolutely. Jasmyne Cannick is our guest. And you can do like Trevor and call us at 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique Diprima for Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
You can't fix what you won't face. And we face it every day. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Medicare Fraud Prevention Week focuses on the actions everyone can take to prevent Medicare fraud, errors, and abuse. Learn how to protect yourself and your loved ones by joining the Senior Medicare Patrol, or SMP, for Medicare Fraud Prevention Week, held the week of June 5th. Learn more at californiasmp.org or by calling 1-855-613-7080. LADWP customers get rebates up to $1,500 when you install a qualified electric vehicle charger at your home. It's like having a gas station in your garage. Get extra savings when you combine LADWP rebates with federal tax credits on chargers installed before June 30th. Visit ladwp.com/EV today and start saving. That's ladwp.com/EV. Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at kbla1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
For communities impacted by the war on drugs, cannabis legalization was supposed to create opportunity. But too often, people entered the industry without the information they needed to succeed. This Thursday, LA County Office of Cannabis Management and Life Development University are bringing together professionals from the cannabis industry for a free educational workshop focused on retail, delivery, and testing. You'll hear from people doing the work every day, not consultants, not influencers, but professionals who understand the opportunities and challenges firsthand. If you've ever been curious about cannabis careers, business opportunities, or how the legal market actually works, this is your chance to ask questions and get real answers. Join them Thursday, June 4th, 7 p.m. at the Beehive in South Los Angeles. Free admission, limited seating. Register today at lacountycannabised.org or call 323-747-6728. That's 323-747-6728.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, Jasmyne Cannick. I want to make sure I tee this up. You can find her at Hello Jasmine online at Instagram. Are you still on Facebook?
That's funny. Yes, so just my name, Jasmine. You'll find me at Jasmyne A. Cannick on Facebook. Hello, Jasmine on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram. Google my name, my Substack, my website, all of that will come up. It's Jasmine with a Y, Jasmyne. I do want to say for folks who are paying attention and want to keep up with all of the updates, the LA County Registrar, Recorder, County Clerk always puts out a press release with the Canvas update schedule, which means when the daily updates will take place. And so every day we will have an update starting today. Somewhere between 4 and 5, that website will be updated, and it will go like that all the way through June 26th if needed. And this is daily, so this is Saturdays and Sundays as well. So 4 to 5 p.m., somewhere in that time frame is when you can go and check. If you're like us, we're constantly refreshing during that hour, like refresh, waiting for those numbers to pop up. But, if you're, waking up and you're like, oh, let me check back in an hour, do not do that because the numbers will be the same. They will only update that between 4 and 5.
And then for
daily.
the statewide offices, you'd need to check with the Secretary of State, right?
Yeah, you can do that. And again, I was very highly invested in the San Bernardino mayor's race. And so I had to go to the San Bernardino's county clerk website to check their election results as well. So if it's outside of LA County, you would obviously have to check that entity. And of course, you can check the Secretary of State's website for our statewide races. But just in terms of like our local races here in the county of Los Angeles, You will need to, check between 4 and 5. And I had a lot of folks last night who were asking me about some of the local city races. In your local cities, they usually run in November. So, West Hollywood, Inglewood, a lot of these other smaller municipalities, code word for cities, those elections are coming up. They will be in November. And again, like I said, this is not the final chapter. It's really the first draft. So I think it's going to be a nail-biter, Dominique, for the next couple of days for us as we watch these numbers go back and forth and see who ends up coming in second place in some of these more highly contested races.
So what happened with your Inland Empire race?
It doesn't look like Amy Malone is going to make it, but I'm so proud of her for running. Let me tell you something. There are candidates and candidates' partners and candidates' staffers who are probably still asleep, but who are, exhausted. Right? It's a full-time job to run for office. Folks think, it's just you going around, talking about how great you are. No, there's a lot of sacrifices and a lot of work. And it's even harder, I would say, if you're already in office and you still got to work that job and also campaign, right? Shout out to Mayor Karen Bass. So I think there's a lot of folks who are just so happy to rest. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell on myself, Dominique, I'm supposed to be there in the studio with you today, right?
Yeah.
I was so exhausted.
Well, I slept in the studio. That was my secret.
See, that's what I should have done. I should have left the election night party and then gone and
head over here and
the
sleep on the
studio.
table, right, with me because, we finished up here at 10 last night with my colleagues, Dr. Nicolai Corte and Adrian Shropshire. All of us will be back on with Tavis at 9, so that should be fun. But I think one thing that, I know you worked closely with the mayor this contest, and she sounded really confident and really strong last night. What were your thoughts?
Look, I am very proud of Mayor Karen Bass, and again, like I said, it's an incredible. People don't have, most people would be in a fetal position if they had to walk 1 week in her shoes. And experience the criticisms that she has to experience.
And death threats.
And then,
let's not forget the death threats.
The death threats, the criticism, this idea that she's some magical wizard that can solve decades-old problems within, one day. She should be confident. She's on top, and she's going to stay on top. And, we're going to duke it out, and we're going to fight through November, but we love our city. And folks, no matter what you may think as a mayor, you don't want Spencer Pratt as your mayor. You absolutely do not.
Yeah, do you see a scenario where he could actually win? The money's going to pour in there. Trump and Elon and all those guys are going to start propagandizing about our mayor.
Flip the city.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. And so folks are going to have to
Big
swallow
money.
their pride.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to figure it out. And I know that folks who supported Nithya and folks who supported Ray and some of these other candidates that ran, y'all are gonna have to coalesce and get behind Karen. We will welcome you into the fold. No candidate is perfect. We're not saying that Mayor Karen Bass is perfect, but she is definitely better for this city than Spencer Pratt would be. And let me be clear, I don't care how many times Spencer Pratt comes to South LA, brings tacos and barbecue and all of that stuff. Our votes are not for sale, but also let me be very crystal clear. He is running to be the HOA president for the city of Los Angeles. He is running for the Pacific Palisades. He is not running for East LA. He's not running for South LA. He is not running for downtown LA. He is running for one specific side of this city. We deserve a mayor that cares about all of us. Could you imagine if Karen Bass only cared about South LA? Now, some of y'all would get excited and love that, but let me tell you, she would not last too long because the folks in the Valley would be upset. The folks in Hollywood would be upset. You have to be a mayor for the entire city, not just your personal grievance.
But did you see the numbers from the
Palisades.
Valley? Oh, my gosh, it's Spencer territory. Well, we'll see if that holds.
Of course.
I didn't think they were. Oh, anyway, I thought, They'd find someone other than him, Miller or somebody. Well, Jasmyne Cannick, I always appreciate you and your insights, and we'll see you Monday. We'll have a lot to talk about then.
We certainly will, and I'm just happy folks exercise their right to vote. The way this country is going, this could be one of our few last elections. So y'all, please get some rest. We back at this, for November. It's not over yet.
Absolutely. News, traffic, and sports, and then it's a Wealth Building Wednesday and open phones. All that straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Spencer Pratt appears headed for a runoff election with Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
It's going to be a fun ride. I hope she's ready.
The reality TV star has 29%, while City Councilwoman Thea Rahman is trailing in third place. Bass is leading in the primary with 36% of the vote. A group of black candidates in South Florida is considering uniting to challenge a longtime incumbent. For Democrats, Elijah Manley, Luther Campbell, Dale Holness, and Sheila Chervelis McCormick are discussing whether to consolidate support ahead of the primary to improve their chances of winning the seat against Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And the Tribeca Festival is underway, opening with a new documentary from Questlove highlighting the legacy of Earth, Wind, and Fire. The film explores the group's cultural impact and the vision of late founder Maurice White. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Head to Waba Grill for $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. and try our new Chili Crisp dumplings paired with a premium beverage drink like our new